Shemai GTA fans, what's your favourite car? Is it the Porsche 911 Turbo 1988 in red colour with a Targa roof? Well, if you like that car, you're going to like the Comet. A Comet is a car I've really enjoyed ever since the first GTA, so it's no surprise to you that my favourite car is probably the Comet Retro, which is most like the 80s Porsche, but also just as much fun, just as dangerous. The 80s Porsche was called the Widowmaker, and similar to that car, you are going to be smashing it up with this because it has ungrippy tyres. But what else? Well, we have a new Comet coming out this week called the Comet S3 based on a GT3. Now this could be an awesome car, so let's take them to Los Santos Tuno's test track. Now previously I did the Fister 811 review, and with that I took all the Porsches, the Comets, and paced them against the Fister on the racetrack of LSIA. The Comet Retro came out number 2 against the 811, but on a smaller test track I think the Retro is going to win. I think it's going to win all the others. And that's because the 811 has to be too powerful for the test track, which is more suitable for smaller, more nippy vehicles because it's like a go-kart track. So here we are at the test track with the Comet Retro. This is just like an 80s Porsche 911 Turbo, isn't it? Great looking car for the price. Only 745,000 with a Benny's update. Alright, so for the test track, what I'm finding is best is to brake hard before the hairpins and let the car take you round. I'm not using the handbrake very much because I think it slows you down too much. So hard brake and then take the left there. And some of the corners you can just take on without a great deal of braking, like this one here. And the next one, it just leads you around in quite a big circle. This is a bit where you can get achieve some real speed on the corners. Finding I'm getting quite close to the yellow edges, so I have missed some of those. Oh, here's the hairpin, the Mega 360 hairpin. This is where I struggled with the Porsches, but not too bad. So that's 1 minute and 06, so very close to the my lap record of the Retro. I think the 811 is going to struggle, and I am quite right with that, but it has got a lot of power, so while I'm struggling in the corners, it puts a lot of power down, and the acceleration isn't too bad, it's making up for it. It's struggling with the grip, for sure, and to put the power down, but it's doing alright. You know, I'm surprised it's doing as well as it is, because it's not as reliable. My laps haven't been consistent as with the Retro, with the 811, that's for sure. So I'm just getting the PBs on just the odd one here and there. Okay, come up to the hairpin. It should be a bit easier because it's got more slip. But here we are, coming up to the end. It's close, it's going to be pretty close. That was only 30 seconds slower than the Retro, so the 811 did pretty well then. I'm surprised. So here's a Comet SR. I think it's all going to be downhill from here because the SR is probably not going to be as good as the Retro. I'm finding it difficult in the corners because it's got quite a wide turning angle and there's not a lot of grip. So yeah, it's the old understeer thing again. It's accelerating all right, but it doesn't feel like it's going to beat the Retro here as I expected. And that's probably why I give it that funky paint job, the yellow and the blue, because it's not a car I get out very much. So I much prefer the Retro for driving. If you're a fan of Porsches, then do like and subscribe. Oh, we're into the final 360, and we're into the final straight. What the hell just happened? I just got a personal best with the SR. What the hell? This is the Comet, but I'm a bit dumbfounded that I just got my best time ever with a Comet SR. This car, amazing. That's yeah. I don't expect the Comet will beat that time. I mean, we can be pretty certain of that because the Comet is just a lower grade version of the SR. But the SR beat the Retro and the 811, so I didn't expect that. It shows how much difference it makes having control over this tight track. It didn't feel like I was going that fast as well. But the SR and the Comet handle pretty similar, so I reckon the time's going to be pretty good on the Comet as well here. So, you know, it's got to be 58. So, yeah, just over a minute with the Comet, so not bad. Oh, and here is the latest car. This is the Comet S3. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm looking forward to, and this is why I'm reviewing these cars today, because this is the car I'm going to be buying on Thursday when it gets released. And I'm liking the way it drives around this track. It's nice. It's nothing like the Comet SR or the Retro really. It's somewhere in between. It handles really nice. So I'm enjoying this. I'm liking this car. So I'm looking forward to buying it. This is not an upgraded version as well, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of time we're going to get on this track. This is going to be interesting. We're coming up to 50 seconds here. This is a 360 degrees now. Handbrake, not brilliant, but it's alright. 58. This is close to a minute. Just over a minute. Now that is brilliant. That is a good time for an unupgraded S3. So it'll be interesting to see what the actual car, fully upgraded, does on this track. I reckon it can beat the Comet SR on this. It's got to. It's got to be the best Porsche on this track for sure. Well, here is the test track table to show the breakdown. We have the Comet SR at number 1, 58 seconds and 36, followed by the ETR 1 at 1 minute and 005 seconds. Comet Retro, a split second behind ETR 1, and then the Fister 811 at 33. So yeah, it's quite tight in the top, except for the SR. It just breaks away massively. But most interesting, as I've said, is the S3. It's above a fully uploaded Comet, so I can't wait for that one to come out. But I still think my favourite car is the Comet Retro. So although this is kind of like showing what is best about the Retro and the SR, think about the price as well. Like the Retro will cost you 745,000. That's by buying a Comet for 100,000 and doing a Benny upgrade to 645. Whereas the Comet SR will cost you a whopping $1.14 million. The Fister 811 is only 1.13, and that's a supercar. If you're planning on spending a lot of time at Los Santos Tuners on the test track in particular, racing your chums, then you have to consider the SR as an option. But for me, it's got to be the Comet Retro because it's good value, but it's also true to the original Porsche 911 Turbo from the 80s, and that, to me, looks better than the modern Porsches. I like the curves to it. It's just a nicer looking car, and it's more fun to drive as well because it slides more in the corners. You can really hammer it out, and true to the Widowmaker name, you can even smash it into a concrete wall quite easily. And it's the second fastest Porsche, so can you beat that? Or Fister, Comet, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I hope this video has helped you. Do like and subscribe if it has, and drop your comments. So I want to hear your thoughts on the upcoming Comet S3, and tell me if you're going to buy it because it's going to be awesome. But thank you very much for watching and have a great day.